Alright, driving myself crazy in the shop. I decided to check my Morse Taper 2 gauge in, well, there it is, on the spin indexer plate. Now, I showed some angular deviation of the tapered surface. I get it dialed in at one spot near the big end, and the small end would be off, and vice versa. So I thought I'd try a 5/8 pin, a solid straight 5/8 dowel pin, right? Because I ground the knurl to 5/8, you know, and set this down. And I'm checking it on the Suburban spin dexeruli, right? I mean, it's a Suburban, there you go, Suburban spin fixture, and it's twaddling all over God's creation. So here, let's see here, you can focus on the dial, if you would focus please. Let me spin it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has 4 thou of run out. I bought this on eBay a long time ago, and I think I paid something like 150 bucks, maybe 180, 175, something like that. Well, no wonder. You know, it's off. So if I have a cup wheel, I can grind this on this surface grinder. Let me find a cup wheel. Maybe I'll grind this thing. One thing in the shop turns into another. This is crazy. Because I thought this is going to be the end-all be-all accurate solution. So disappointed. Alright, let's keep going. Doozer shop. Alright, Doozer shop, here we go again. We're gonna try, we're gonna go for broke here. I got that cup wheel mounted on the mighty Boyer-Schild surface grinder, and I'm showing you, the nut is sub-flush, not by a super large amount, but it's on there tight. I had to put a spacer washer behind it. It's quite tight, and I got the old wheel taken off of it there. Let's hook up the let's put the spin jig on the magnet and see how we look, and maybe we'll indicate it in and do it the right way even. Alright, got you back. I wanted to show you my setup. The best way I could think about how to do this, set up my mag base on the saddle and indicate this base plate part at the rear. And this is not my most sensitive indicator, right? It's not. But if I go there, let me kind of tip. I think you can see that, right? I'm on 0. I'm going to slowly. Ooh, my handle's in the way. 0. I'm going to traverse the other way. Traversing. And I'm back to there, right? So I'm there. Traveling. That's a good shot. You can see both. Right? And I think that's going to be good. I think. I'm gonna try this crazy thing. All right, let's get her turned on. All right, guys, got you rolling. Maybe this is a bad idea. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just hanging off the edge of the wheel, and I believe I'm covering the center. Hold on, let me look. Oh yeah, I am covering the center. Actually, I could come. I'm looking in the middle of the hollow spindle. Let's turn it on. I don't want to grind a dish in this. Sorry. I don't want to make this convex. I want to make it slightly concave, but we got it straight across. We can adjust it. Let me plug in the VFD. Unplug the Mighty Brown & Sharp 13. Plug in the VFD. For this. Alright. Yeah, that's right. How's the wobble? Excuse my head. Ooh. It's got a bit of wobble, Captain. My head's in the way. Sparks. Sparks. Alright, I'm at 15 on the dial. I gotta go into 20 to make a full cleanup. Kind of good. All right, let's cut. It's half a thou. Okay. It's 1 thou. take a while. I'll keep going at this. I'll bring you back. Hope I'm doing this right. Is that enough fun? Should I advance the cut? Let's advance the cut. That was fun. I can't lie. Oh, one more. It's like watching a water ram pump. Alright, I'm going to set you guys down. Advance the cut. I got a rag, and that spanner wrench is my brake. Otherwise it really wants to go fast. Can you see? It's cleaned up the outside perimeter. There's just you advance it just a little, and boy, it wants to take a big cut. I think that's going to be a problem. I'm going to stop in a minute and let this thing cool. It's a bit warm. Go in the house and get a sandwich. But it's coming in. It just takes, this is going to be an all-day job. We'll see. I don't want to flat chatter that grinding wheel. You know what I mean, flat chatter? Get the full flat of it in contact, and then it'll just vibrate and chatter and just squeal, and that's not good. That's why I did not dress this wheel, because I did not want full contact, full face contact on purpose. see. Bring it back. All right. I went in the house, had a sandwich and a little bit of a rest. This thing's cooled down. And, you know, something's telling me that this is not the way to go. I've been looking. The wheel is now running very true, like it self-dressed itself. It knocked off the high grains. And it's a super fine finish. And I think I heard some high frequency little chirps. And what that chirping sound means is it's starting to want to chatter. It's not chattering yet, but those chirps are indicators of it wants to chatter. And it wants to chatter because you have full contact of this wheel. And it's like, I don't know how to explain this. If you've got two dead flat surfaces rubbing against each other, and I mean if there's an oil film, it's great, but they want to resonate. They want to resonate. And when something resonates, the amplitude of the waves, you know, gets higher, and it vibrates. And because it's a grinding wheel and a piece of steel, it's going to want to chatter and dig in. That's what chatter is it instead of removing a uniform controlled amount of material, it chatters and it's removing an uncontrolled amount of material proportional to the amplitude of the high point of the vibration wave. So I'm gonna stop doing this. And another reason is the surface area. My infeed, you know, it's in thousandths of an inch, half thousandths of an inch. That's not fine enough. I need tenths of a thousandth. And when I infeed, you know, I've been looking with the indicator. I guess this is the Z, the in out with the spindle. Most people think Z is always up and down. It's not. It's the axis of the spindle. When I feed in, I think the table racks a bit. 2 thousandths of deviation. The little voice in my head is telling me don't continue with this. Now, I was thinking about something. The Taft Pierce surface grinder. So Taft Pierce makes a grinder. I think it only takes a 6-inch wheel, or 5 or 6 inch, I forget which. But the Taft Pierce allows the spindle, I forget if it angles down or up, or maybe both, I forget which, 5 degrees, okay? The toolmaker grinder. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, if you tip the spindle, and I'm using a cup wheel or whatever, then you're not getting the full face car wash the windshield with your sponge. You're not getting the full face, oh, it's wax on, wax off, that's right. You're not getting the full wax on, you're not getting the full face contact. If you tip the wheel, instead of getting the full face, you're just getting the little edge of the wheel. That would eliminate this full face contact and chatter that it wants to do. So yeah, Taft Pierce grinders are pretty cool. Maybe I'll get one someday if I get, you know, a good deal on an auction. So let's break this down. I'm officially blessing this as nope, we're going to stop this. Okay, magnet off. I'm going to pull this back. I'm just going to take it off and set it on the chair. And, man, oh, I don't want to crack the wheel. I gave it a little nubbin. Okay. So, let me kneel down. So we're looking good, right? There's no clean up here, and it's cleaning up here. But man, it's a mirror. Like, it's absolutely a mirror finish. Can I even get in there with the camera to see myself? It's a mirror finish with these little, I mean, you can't feel them, but that's what I was worried about, this chatter. And this feels like, you know, a mirror, a million grit polish. But I don't want to do a million grit polish. So instead of doing a cup wheel and trying to grind the face of this thing, and it's working, but every fiber in my brain tells me that this is going to chatter, and I'm just going to blow up a wheel or just dig a hole in this beautiful fixture. So what am I going to do? Well, let's see here. This is a microfiber rag. Let me know if any of you guys use these things. This is not belonging there. Okay. And you know, see, there's some grit there. You always got to clean it, but check with your hand. Everybody that uses a tool cutter grinder needs to do this. They just need to clean everything. All right, now I've been grinding on this. What was I doing with this? Oh, this is grind residue from the plug gauge. And so let's set that spindle up here, and maybe we can grind it using this round and sharp 13. Okay, right? Okay, so that's just that there. And just, I feel a little bit, just, maybe I'm crazy, but this is what I do. I want to make sure that this is clean, clean, clean. No grit, no grit, no grit. Okay. And this thing, I'm going to clean the bottom. Clean this thing like your life depends on it, like you're going into surgery, right? Sorry, I don't know if you can see me. All right, wipe it with your hand. Wipe it on your pants. Wipe it on your pants. That's what guys do. All right, let's put this on the 13. Okay. That's pretty good. Maybe. Maybe. Yes, I can raise it up some. All right, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at too. All right, so now I got to clamp this down. There's enough of a ledge there, no problem. Enough of a ledge there, no problem. So my idea is to face grind this. I like that better because now I can, right? Okay, whatever. I got tenths, right? I can crank tenths, right? And, you know, I've got very finite control at the table. Yeah. It's very finite control. So I'm going to level this all up and get it clamped down. Got to find some T-nuts and stuff. I think this is going to be a better idea. I really do. I just don't trust the cup wheel. I don't. This is a good initial try me out kind of idea. It was working, but you know, believe your sense of When that little angel on your shoulder says don't do that, listen to him, right? This is going to be a more controlled thing. That's a really fine wheel on there. I think that's a 120 grit wheel, which is too fine for coarse grinding. I don't know. I might change the wheel out to a 46J or a 46I. Let me get this clamped down and I'll bring you back. Alright, I think I have come up with some semblance of something that will work. Let me show you what I got. I got this spin jiggerator on the table of the Brown & Sharp 13. I bought these fancy clamps off eBay. Somebody was making them. I thought they were cool. So this clamp down there in the T-slot. Just a piece of aluminum to bridge the slot. And I got another one on this side, clamping down the T-slot. Hey, aerial view. Yay. And this, I can move this out of the way a little bit. Whatever. But, and the squareness is registering on the flat of that V-way, so that should be flat and square as square can be. So I didn't dress the wheel, I didn't change the wheel. I'm going to try a light cut and just see what this does. And if I have to change it and dress it, I will. So let's try it. Alright you guys, I got the camera set up as good as I can. Let's see what happens here. And let's see. Alright, very cool. Very smooth. I'm coming in slow and then I'm going to put on the fine feed. So I might knock the camera with this fine feed. Let's hope not. Well, that's cool. We do some traversing. Notice it's uneven. I think when this got hot on the other grinder, it warped a bit. So I'm traversing the table this way with the table feed. I'm liking this 1,000% better, guys. Yeah, way better. I want to check something. Alright guys, this is what I wanted to check because I had the table straight, but it was straight with the shaft and the tailstock and everything. I've got the stationary base of the magnet on the main casting, and then the table that's moving, I indicated the back of this, right? God, these do not show up on camera. Anyways, it's 0 there, okay? Let me traverse across, And, you know, you can take my word for it, but this is video. And it's 0 there. So it's on, and you know, it just kind of floats a little bit with the needle. Okay, I'm touching 0 there. I'm just a tenth less here, which means it's going to grind a concave, which is what I want. So that's what I wanted to check. And boy, it's a good thing I did. Alright, so again, we're at 0. And we're still on 0. Okay, that's what I wanted to check. Alright, let's try not to screw this up. And do it again. Because there's no room for error. Excuse me. Or at least very little room for error. And come back out where I was grinding. Actually, let me go about there. And, you know, just so I can see what on earth is going on. Hey, hey, right on. Maglite, baby. Maglite, baby. Do, 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 do. The fine feed's really close to the camera, but we'll deal with it. Sneaking up. We're getting there. Yeah, there's that step I put in there and I stopped. It's about 2 thou, maybe. I don't know. Plus, you know, we gotta clean up all this out here yet, so that's, I'm not worried about that step. That'll come out. And, oh, this thing's not even hot. It's just a lot of grinding. All right, I'll pause you guys, and you know, we'll bring you back. All right, guys, she is done, and it's like a mirror finish. I mean, this thing is just gorgeous. And I'm checking it. I don't know if this will obscure the camera, but man, there is no deviation. This thing is flat. Hear that? That means it's flat. I mean, there is no daylight. That thing is just flat city. You heard of Fat City? Well, this is Flat City. The thing is freaking flat. I'm so excited. All right, I am, let me pull the camera. Let's see which one pulls it. All right, heck yeah. Thing is done. All right, let me get around. Get around the other side. So that's my setup. You know I'm done with this. There you go. Now you can see. So this is a way better setup than putting the whole dealio in the surface grinder. Yeah, this is way more controlled by, you know, 1,000%. Really awesome. Let's check out the wheel. Man, it is time to dress it. I did not dress it, but it's loaded up for sure. Surprised I didn't have a problem with that. I was running that wheel probably right at 3,600 RPM. Maybe just a little bit more. I know they can explode, so I'm really careful. But anyhow, let me wash this in the parts tank and clean it all up. But super happy with this. Got to tear that down, put the old wheel back on, dress the wheel. But I think my spin jig is repaired 100%. So, all right, guys, I hope you learned something. I sure did. You know, if something's not working, abort mission and try something else. I just thought that I never really demonstrated the punch grinder, sometimes called the spin jig. After I ground the you know, the face, because it was wobbling. That had axial run out, right? That was axial run out along the axis. It was wobbling. Not everybody knows how these punch grinders work with the V-block and the faceplate. Let me demonstrate now that I've got it ground. Perfect. I shouldn't say perfect. As perfect as I can measure it. As good as I can measure it. Engineers are just pains. Nobody likes us. We're so sticklers for words and. All right, let's show you, you know, what's going on with this thing. Can you see me? All right, here's the story. All right, okay. I've got the V-block bolted to the face, right? That's how it usually goes. I mean, I think you can attach anything you want here. But the V-block attaches with, you know, two quarter 20 screws, and it's got these like hoop clamps that you can bolt in different positions, and usually these are for grinding punches, and you can index them. You can index it over here, grind a flat, grind a radius, go over this side, grind a flat, go the other side, grind a radius, whatever. I know you can't see the indicator from where you are. But right now I've got, let's see, let me see here. Okay, So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thousandths of run out. Okay, now let me just say, this is how you adjust this. Every single time it's not like a chuck where you chuck something, it's a V-block. And this V-block goes up and down. There's a central keyway, right? There's a central slot that guides it and keeps it on center one way, but you have to align the up and down direction. You know what? Let me turn this a bit more. And then, sorry if I'm got my arm in the shot there. All right. So you got to try to find the high spot, right? The high up and down and up. Okay. So there we are. And according to what it's saying, I think that's low. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, you can see that. So I'm going to these are just barely tight. So that's just barely tight. That's just barely tight. Okay. Now, I've got my hammer here. This is a very neat little hammer. See, it's got O-rings on the top. And what that's for is so you can throw it down, I say throw it, on the surface plate. Can you see that? Yep. And the wood handle hits the surface plate, not going to hurt it. And then the rubber O-rings hit the surface plate, and it's not going to hurt it. So this is kind of one of my ideas. I don't know. All right, enough of that. So now that the screws are barely tight, no, let's go in the wrong way. Let's go this way. We tap it down. We go 3 thousandths. We go 4 thousandths. Okay, so right now, let's call that 0, and 180 degrees off, that's about 5/10. Ooh. So let me go 2.5/10. Okay. So there's on that degree rotation. Nope. So that, to me, that's a bit high. No. So that's low, that's high. I gotta hit the lows. I'll keep monkeying this up here. So I'm turning my dial so it's on an even. So I hit the lows. So it should be on this keyway, this key slot on the side, but there's a little play. I keep doing it the wrong way. Okay, so I'm within a couple tenths there. I keep hitting it too hard. I'm kind of hitting it on the diagonal, so I'm hitting the low. I'm within a tenth. I'm within half a tenth. Okay, my dial is not hardly, like, it's not even moving. So let me tighten these a little bit. Tighten, tighten, tighten. The low is right there, so let me... Okay. Now let me bring it in, man. This thing is... Alright, it's on 3. So I'm going to spin this, right? It's hard to zoom you in, and I'm still spinning it. Right? I mean, that thing is like nothing, right? I'll make all you guys happy with the obsessive compulsive. I'm spinning it. It's not moving. Right? It's the needle is touching it. And I'm shaking the camera more than whatever, but that needle is right on the edge of that 0, and it's not moving, right? So now, I end up yelling at the camera. I'm sorry, guys. Let's put this over here, right near that. Okay, that's absolutely 0. I mean, that's the same reading. Now let's go out to the tip. Go right on the high point. And it's not bad. All right. So now I'm at the tip of the bar. So it was dead nothing there, dead nothing at this end. So I'm stretched out on this end. Now I'm going to spin it. Oh, I'm trying to hold the camera steady. That is about 1/10, maybe. I'm going to say it's a light 1/10. All right, so that's kind of the deal with this guy, right? He's just down camera, bad camera. Okay, so anyways, that's pretty good. If I'm over what is that, 2 inches or so, and I'm out 1/10 of angular deviation, that's pretty good. So I just wanted to show you that, how this works. And like I said, you have to adjust it with the hammer every time in this slot, up and down. You can see. All right, so that's kind of it. You know, that's how that works. I wanted to show you. That's a punch former, punch grinder, spin jig, spin index. There's lots of names for these things. This is a Suburban. I've heard a couple opinions that Herrig makes one that's a bit more accurate. I don't know that for a fact, but some guys that I respect, I've heard, oh yeah, Herrig is a little bit nicer. When they say a bit nicer, they're talking 1/10 nicer or 1/2 nicer. But to be within a less than 1/10 of a thousandth, that's 0.401, call it 5 zeros 9 or 5 zeros 8 if it makes you feel better, right? Yeah, this thing's really accurate now. So the grinding I did was very successful. So thanks for sticking with me with this long form video. I hope you enjoyed seeing me resurrect this tool from an eBay purchase that, you know, may have been a, you know, it was on the cheap side, and maybe that's why. But I can't see any evidence of dropping this thing. Like, that's how it could only get bent, is if you dropped it or beat it with a hammer or something. I couldn't leave the factory that way. But so somebody knew that this was wanged, or they wanged it themselves and they sold it on eBay. And it was 4 thousandths out on that face, and now I can't measure anything on the face. So any deviation that we're reading right now is probably in that V block is not 90 degrees exactly, and I could tune that up, you know, measure it, you know, is it off one way or the other, and lightly stone the one side with an India stone, or lap it on 1,000 grit paper and pressure the one side. I've got 1,000 grit paper, I've got 1,500 paper, I think I've got 2,000 paper. And I think it's for doing body, polishing car paint, bodywork car paint. But anyways, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, this is Doozer Shop.